Well guys, if you remember correctly, in yesterday's video I posted here on this channel why I am buying Tesla stock like crazy. I issued you guys a challenge. I said if this video hits 2,999 thumbs up or more in the next 7 days, I will show all the Tesla shares I own in all 4 accounts with cost basis shown. And needless to say, you guys accomplished that in less than 24 hours. So I'm a man of my word. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do that video here today, okay? I issued you guys another challenge. I said if that video hit 3,333 thumbs up or more by tomorrow, I would record the video standing on a Bosu ball trying to balance, okay? And the video nearly hit that number, okay? It came a little short, so I'll give you guys another chance here today. If this video here today hits 3,333 thumbs up or more by tomorrow, I will literally record tomorrow's video while trying to balance on a Bosu ball, okay? Now, there are 2 things I want to accomplish in today's video. First is I'm going to show you all 4 accounts I own Tesla shares in and with my cost basis and everything. And number 2, I want to go ahead and basically disclose if I'm going to buy any more Tesla shares or if I am all done buying Tesla shares now at this point in time. Now, some folks wonder how long I've been an investor in Tesla for, okay? So I first came across the brand, it was like 2011, okay? Now, keep in mind, Tesla in 2011, very much a different company. It was the first time I ever walked into a Tesla store. I don't even know if they had a functional Model S actually in the store at that time, but I do specifically remember they had like the bottom part like torn out of like a Model S, and it was there on the showroom floor. And I remember just like walking around that store and just kind of being fascinated by like what was going on there, because this was totally so much different than anything I'd ever seen in my life when it came to cars. Like you think about cars and like the car buying experience, you think of like going to a dealership, right? And just to like go to a store, it was like in a really nice mall in like Scottsdale, Arizona, to like go to that store and like walk around. It might have been in Newport Beach, California on vacation. It was either in Scottsdale, Arizona or Newport Beach, but it was a really nice mall. And it was just a fascinating experience walking around that store that day. And that was my first time I ever came in contact with Tesla. And the first time I had ever known what this Tesla was, okay? So I followed Tesla for years and years and years. Not like super close, but like close enough to like know what's going on with the company and whatnot. And then finally in 2018, I started to actually invest some money in Tesla stock. And throughout 2019, I've added more and more shares, and I've actually became a part owner of Tesla Corporation now, okay? So that's basically my story with Tesla. I was always fascinated by the brand. I followed it for years, and then finally I decided to, say, hey, you know what? This company, because back in the day, I looked into the stock, and then back then I was like, dude, this stock's way overvalued. And then as time went on, things started to make more and more sense, and the stock never went anywhere, and now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, now the stock's really undervalued. So needless to say, I started buying shares, all right? So let's start getting into these different accounts that I own Tesla shares in. As I told you guys, I own it in 4 different accounts, all right? So this first one, by the way, Tesla shares today closed at about $221.71. And in this particular account here, we are down $63.33 on our Tesla shares, down 2.53%. In this account here, we basically own $2,438 worth of Tesla shares. We only own 11 shares in this particular account. Cost base on this one of $227.47. I believe this account here I'm showing you is like some shares I have in like a 401k type account or IRA or something like that there. So a very small amount of shares. A couple of other accounts have a lot of Tesla shares. This one and the next one don't have that many, okay? Next account up here, we own 15 shares in this one, so a few more shares. And in this one, basically, we're down about 7%. This is our worst cost basis on any of the accounts. Once again, it's a small amount of money relative to the other accounts, so it's not that big of a deal, but still, we're down $257.51 here. And once again, that equates to just over a 7% loss there. Cost basis on these ones are basically $238.88. So that one's a bit high, okay? 221's where the stock's at now, 238. But at the same time, when I kind of think about some of these cost bases I'm showing you here, the cost bases are all in the low 200s. And if you really think about like my bullish thesis on Tesla, and if everything works out, like I believe this can be, a stock that's $1,000+ in the future. So regardless if it's like $280 cost basis or like 220 or 250, does it really matter if things end up working out in the end for me? We'll have to see if that that happens, but you know, needless to say, it really doesn't, I guess you can say, okay? This one here, we're up about 3%, 3.17% in this particular account, and now we're talking about the accounts I have a lot of money in Tesla stock, okay? So this one here, we're up $769.86. This one has a current value of $25,000, a little over $25,000 here. We own 113 shares. Some of those shares are on margin because I just bought them yesterday and the money hasn't cleared yet. But once those clear, they will go off margin. And cost basis on this one is $214.90. So that one's a little below basically where the stock's trading at. Once again, the stock's trading at like 221 today. So it's a little below that, and we're actually making money in that account. But once again, you know, if things work out long term, it really doesn't matter if it's 220, 230, 250 or at the end of the day, okay? And the most shares I own in Tesla in any of my accounts is this account here, which is actually, these shares are actually in the public account, which is disclosed to everybody in my private stock market membership group. They can see all moves in that account, all cost basis, everything I'm possibly doing. And Tesla stock in this one, we're down about 2.56%. We're down $874.70 in this one here. Once again, this is by far the most Tesla shares we own in any of the accounts, and over $33,000 worth of Tesla stock, $33,256 to be exact. We own 150 shares there. Cost basis on this one is $227.54. So if you want to go ahead and do the calculations on basically how much we are up or down on Tesla stock, basically you got to take the negative $63 number, then you got to subtract, you know, another $257 loss, or you know what we're down right now. Then one of our accounts we're up $769, and then that last account we're down $874. So as of right now, we are down $425 on that stock, which basically I would call like break even at the end of the day. Whenever you're like, you know, up or down less than $1,000, or at least in my position, when you have a good amount of money in a stock, if you're up or down less than $1,000, we call it like break even, because if we were up 425, like, does it really matter, especially with where we're trying to go with that stock overall, okay? Now, if you know anything about me, you know I have a goal of basically having 300 Tesla shares. So if you add up the shares, 150 shares, then in another account we had 113, another account we had 15, another account we had 11. We are 11 shares short of what the goal is I want to get to. And as of right now, once again, the stock's at about $221, almost $222. So we need to buy for another $2,431 worth of shares, essentially, you know, assuming the stock was at the same price if I went and bought it tomorrow or something like that. And so I believe probably within the next week or so, I will get this position finished building out, and I will once again own 300 shares in the stock. And in my opinion, that's what I want to hold in Tesla stock, okay? 300 shares has been my goal to get in Tesla stock, and then it's just we hold that stock, and you know, hopefully everything over the next 3, 5, 7 years works out. We make a lot of money on this stock. It's a great stock for us, and you know, it's a long-term hold. That's the goal, okay? Now, some people ask me, okay, you have this goal of getting 300 Tesla shares. Why not keep buying Tesla stock if it went down a bunch, okay? Let's say it goes to $180 or lower. Or let's even say the stock goes up. You know, remember, my bullish thesis on the stock is for this to be $1,000+ stock years into the future, okay? If not a multi-$1,000 stock in the future. So I have like big ambitions for where I think this stock has potential in it, because I can realistically see them 5xing or 10xing their business over the next 5 to 10 years. So when you think about that, you're like, okay, why only risk 300 shares there, okay? And at the end of the day, it goes back to risk reward, all right? There are definitely some risk involved with Tesla stock. This isn't like some stock that it just has no risk involved. First off, every single stock in the stock market has risk. I don't care if you're talking Apple, Google, the safest of the safest companies, Facebook, Microsoft, every single stock in the stock market has risk inherent with it, okay? And Tesla has more risk than a lot of other stocks because of their balance sheet and the fact that they haven't proven they can be profitable. I believe they can get there in the future, but that is just belief as of right now. It hasn't been proven, okay? So risk reward here, we definitely got some risk here, okay? So yes, there's big, huge potential on the other side if they make it through and they do all the things I believe they're gonna do in the future. But there's still risk, okay? So if, once again, we look at Tesla stock stock here today is about $221 a share. And so if we go ahead and times out $221 by about 300 shares, and that means I've risked, over $65,000 in that stock. And for me, like $65,000 is a good chunk of money. It's not like it's super insignificant amount of money. Like $65,000+ in a stock is a good sized position for me, okay? So when I look at Tesla stock, I'm like, this is what I'm willing to risk on the stock. 65, 70,000, based upon my net worth, like that's what I feel comfortable with in a stock like Tesla. Like if it went to zero somehow and nothing worked out and they couldn't raise money and it's like almost an impossible thing, but let's say somehow it happened and Tesla stock somehow goes to zero, right? If I look at that, like I can deal with like a $65,000 or $70,000 loss with a stock like that. But I'm not willing to risk several hundred thousands of dollars in Tesla stock. I'm just not willing to do that, despite, the fact that there could be huge reward potential. Because remember, everything in this game, I always preach to everybody, it's all about risk reward. There's a lot of risk in Tesla stock, but there's also a massive reward potential. So you got to kind of, say, what is your level of risk you're willing to take? And for every person, it's different. Like some people, they want to throw their whole life savings in Tesla stock. I think it's crazy to throw your whole life savings in any stock, especially if you have a significant amount of money, even if you think it's going to 10x over the future or something like that, okay? It's still crazy to go to those type of places. Believe me, you're coming from a guy that has gone to those places before, where I've been all in a stock or all in like 2 or 3 stocks and with significant amounts of money. Coming from a guy that has done that in the past and experienced how bad that can be, like just take it from me, it's not the best, thing to do, okay? If you look at a stock like Tesla and you're like, dude, I think this stock's going to be huge in the future. Great. And you looked in a company and you understand and you want to invest in it. Great. That's good for you. But you got to always kind of, ask yourself, what level of risk am I willing to take in the stock? Am I really willing to wrap up 50% of my net worth in the stock? Am I really, willing to put everything in this stock? And if you want to make that decision, it's your decision. It's your life. I'm just telling you from someone with experience in the stock market of over 10 years and has gone to those places with stocks. It usually is a bad situation, okay? It puts you in a huge position of weakness in the end, okay? It's just the way it works out. Staying diversified is always a great thing. Doesn't mean you have to own 100 stocks, but having all your eggs in one basket, guys, it's really, really risky, and it puts you really in a position of weakness in the end. So anyways, I want to hear from you guys in that comment section what stocks you are buying, if you're buying any more Tesla shares or if you're just holding Tesla shares. And even if you're short selling Tesla shares, I would still love to hear you in the comment section. As always, I know the shorts always love to kind of tell about, why Tesla stock's going to go to zero and whatnot. So I would love to hear from you guys in that comment section. As always, don't forget 3,333 thumbs up on this video, and I will literally record tomorrow's video standing on a Bosu ball trying to balance. All right, so we'll see if you guys hit that. All right, thank you for watching and have a great day.